Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the We Run on Coffee podcast. I'm Marissa,
And I'm Erica.
and I have new headphones.
Woohoo! Woohoo! She's upgraded, you guys. She's a new woman after this birthday weekend she just
I
had.
know, and I'm
Mhm.
so happy because, as you know, one of my goals for the new year was to get new headphones for the
Yes.
podcast and to set up a recording space. The recording space is still
In
work in
progress.
progress,
Yeah, that's all right.
but Kyle bought me these new
Oh my
headphones
gosh.
for my birthday, and they are so
They're
nice.
so
Apparently,
cute.
these are the ones that Markiplier uses, I guess.
I don't
He
even know what that
said
is.
he's a streaming, a
Oh, okay.
gaming YouTuber.
Okay.
And
Cool.
Kyle watches his videos sometimes and I'll watch them with him.
Yeah.
But he was looking up just different podcast headphones and he was trying to find the best ones. And then he
Aw.
found these and then he saw the logo. There's a
Yeah.
logo in the middle of the ear
Oh, yeah.
here. And he said he saw them on Markiplier's head and he was like, oh, that's
Wait.
why I know they're really good ones.
Oh, that's so cool. Marissa
I
has new
know.
headphones and a new sweatshirt.
I
So,
know, and I have a new sweatshirt. So if you're an OG, you remember that I'm obsessed with
yes.
comfort clothing. So
Comfort hoodies.
this is like a monochrome, so you can't really see the logo here,
I
but
love it
it
though.
is their pastel edit. So on here it says Comfort
Mm.
Collection Pastel Edit. And I
Wow.
thought I was getting the pants too, but I think my mom just ordered me the sweatshirt, so maybe I'll have to buy my pants to
There you
match
go.
later.
I have clothes to show you guys today too, actually randomly. They're sitting next to me, kind of like a mini
That's very
haul. But
funny.
I have a PSA. So,
Oh,
anyways,
okay.
welcome to the episode, people. I'm excited. We have a
Yay.
lot today. I have 5 pages, and just wait, next week's episode, I have 10 pages. No, 12. 12.
That's crazy because I also have a lot of stuff to say, and I feel like you have a
Yes.
lot of stuff to say. And
We're gonna be
we
busy.
recorded 2 weeks ago, but I feel like so much has happened.
We did, and so much has. And now that you say that, you guys can see I'm on my phone. I'm going to start a stopwatch so we can at least somewhat know. I meant to do that when we started. Me and Marissa don't ever know, you guys, anymore how long the episode is in the moment because
Hmm.
we used to have like a ticking time recorder on our screen. Now we don't put that on our screen anymore. So we just look at each other and talk until we can't talk anymore.
Yeah, until the topic's done or we just can't talk
So,
anymore.
yeah, now we need to know.
That's
So
very
I'll
funny.
start that. We'll see where we're at.
Okay. I feel like I'm going to monopolize a lot of time. So does that mean I go first or second?
Sure. It doesn't either way. I have a lot of stuff as well. So maybe I'll go first because yours probably, yeah, yours is going to be more in depth. Mine's just like random updates.
Okay, so
So,
I have a
yeah,
good update and I have a bad update. So I'm
yeah.
gonna go with the good first and we're gonna end on the bad so Erica can go into her updates because I
Okay,
feel like
okay.
they're gonna be better.
That works.
So my good update is that it was my birthday. So
Yes.
I got these headphones, like I said, I got the sweatshirt. I got you know what a Hatch alarm clock is?
Mm-hmm.
I did not get a Hatch because I think it's unreasonably expensive for what
You
it
got like
is.
a knockoff.
Yeah, so it's the Philips brand. It's called the Wake
Oh,
Up alarm light something.
yeah.
So it wakes you up with light, and I wake up to the sound of birds
Yes.
chirping, and I love it.
Do you like
I've
it?
only
Always thought about it. They look really nice.
I like it a lot. I've only used it 3 days. The first day I
Yeah.
used it, I was waking up super early and I was nervous that it wasn't gonna wake me up. So I don't think I slept very well and it
Yeah.
didn't help me wake up. And then I used it yesterday and I just didn't get enough sleep yesterday. So I feel like it didn't really give me a good sense.
Yeah.
And then I slept a lot last night, but I'm still really, really tired. So it woke me up, but I only woke up to the birds chirping today. And the birds were
Yeah.
yelling, they get loud.
Dang. That's so funny. How does Kyle feel about this? I always wonder when two people use the same thing, if people both like it or one hates it.
Yeah, he said on Friday morning when I used it, it didn't even wake him up.
Oh wow.
And then yesterday, I feel like it did wake him up, but that's only because we had to be somewhere, and I feel like he knew he had to get up.
Yeah.
And then today it woke him up because I didn't wake up at first, and the birds had to yell, so it woke him up.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So it starts out as a really dull red light, and then it starts
Yeah.
to get lighter and lighter and lighter, like the sun would.
Okay.
And then when the light gets all the way to white or sun colored, I guess,
Yeah.
then the alarm starts going off, and then the alarm gets progressively louder. So if you're not waking up,
Nice.
it progressively gets louder.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
But those are the gifts that I've got. I got a card game from Kyle. I got gloves from Kyle for running. And
Nice.
then I think I don't even remember what else. It's just been such a good weekend and I've had such
Oh,
a good time.
good. How was the escape room?
It was very good. We got out, but we did have to ask for an extra 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
And we kept begging them for more hints because they were like,
Yeah,
it's her birthday. Can we get more hints for the birthday girl? And they were like, yeah. So
that's cute.
we used three hints like normal, and then we were
Yeah,
on the last spot or like the last clue, I guess, and we couldn't figure it out. So we just kept being like, okay, did we get it? Did we get it? Did we get it?
yeah.
And then they finally told us like how to do it.
Oh, that's fun.
It was very fun.
Love.
And then we went to a place called Boardroom, which is a bar that has board games at it. And we played there for like a couple of hours. We mostly just talked though. And
Hmm.
then I ended up closing on the bars, Erica.
Damn.
We were there until like 1:30 just chatting. And then we were like, okay,
Dang.
let's go to one more bar. And then it was a bar with live music. And then we stayed there until
Fun.
they closed it too.
Oh my God, who is she? We
I
started out like a
know.
couple weeks ago being like, no, it's not us anymore.
I know. And like, it's
Love it.
not me, but it was my birthday.
It's
So I'm allowed
fun.
to do stuff that's not
Yeah.
me.
No, that's really fun. Love that.
But that's my good update is that it was my birthday. And
Yay.
then my bad
I'm
update
scared.
is that on last weekend, I went on a 10-mile run and it hurt
I think
the
I saw
whole
that on your
way.
Strava.
Yeah, it hurt the whole way. I've had shin
I'm scared.
splints almost this whole training
Yeah.
plan, and it was just so bad on Sunday. So I made a doctor's appointment and I went on Thursday, and he thinks that I could have stress fractures in my shins.
No.
So I'm getting an MRI today to make sure that I don't. And normally I
Yeah.
wouldn't get the MRI because like
Right. That's what we
the
talked about
the whole
before.
protocol is just like rest,
Just, yeah.
but because I don't know what, like he said if it's not stress fractures, he can't tell me to not run the one in March, like the
Right.
half marathon in March.
Right.
So I'm gonna try my best
To
to do
see.
that still if it's not stress fractures. And
Yeah.
if it is, he's gonna try his best to get me to do the one in April.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So that's not the only thing that's wrong with me.
Yeah.
I'm getting physical therapy for that. And then he also thinks that I have something called compartment syndrome,
Oh.
which is usually a like side effect of a crush injury. So like if you get like your body
Yeah.
smashed, it like builds up. What compartment syndrome is a buildup of pressure in a
Okay.
body cavity. So
Mm-hmm.
like mine would be in my lower legs, so below my knee.
Mm.
And it is my muscles and my inflammation is so much that there is not enough room in my skin for all of
Mm-hmm.
that inflammation. So it starts to impede on like the bones and the nerves, and it
Okay.
makes my feet go numb.
Yeah. Is that why he thinks also that you've injured your foot so much? Like, it could that also be a reason
No,
for the
it
stress
has nothing
fractures?
to do with it.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a
Interesting.
completely different thing. That was just repetition and like
Okay. Like
repetitive,
a
like,
normal. Yeah.
yeah. But
Oh my God.
so I'm
No.
getting an MRI today. I have a follow-up on Tuesday to see if my shins are broken, and then I start physical therapy on Thursday.
Not if my shins are broken. That's not funny, but oh my God, it makes me laugh. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh, that's freaking crazy, bro. So is
I
this
know.
compartment syndrome treatable or what? Or is this like a chronic thing?
Um, the only two things that you can do to fix compartment syndrome are something called detraining,
Hmm.
which means that I would literally not do anything for months. I
Oh,
can't work out at all, do anything for months in the hopes that my muscles start to atrophy or like break
mm-hmm.
down and get
Mm-hmm.
smaller.
Hmm.
That's one. Or
So
I get
wait, so you have too
surgery.
much muscle? Is
Yeah.
that what you're telling me? Bro, this is like the worst thing that could happen for you. Like, why couldn't this happen to me? I'm like, I wouldn't need it. Like, what the hell?
I know. Well, it's also probably like a buildup of inflammation too from something
Yeah.
that's wrong in my legs.
Okay. It says very rare. Oh my God. She's rare, you
Yeah.
guys. Wait, that's
Look
so
up
crazy.
exercise induced compartment syndrome.
Okay, okay, okay.
So it's not fun. It makes my feet go numb all the time.
That's crazy.
And yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's really interesting. I am
But I
excited.
did look up a case study. So I Googled like
Yeah.
exercise induced compartment syndrome, and there was a case study that came up, and somebody that had compartment syndrome in their calves also had a stress fracture. So it
That
could be
caused it.
caused from the like swelling and the
In the
inflammation from the
shins.
stress fracture that's
Okay.
causing like the other buildup of
That's
pressure.
probably best case scenario, right? Because then if you heal your fracture, you're probably going to be on the road to
Yeah.
healing.
Yeah, but the other thing I could do is get
Interesting.
surgery because they said oftentimes people that are active, which it sounds like you are, don't want to take the
Right.
months and months off to hope that their muscles get smaller
Right.
or the inflammation goes down. So you can get something called well, I think this is what it's called, is a fasciotomy. So the fascia
Mm-hmm.
is what connects your skin to your muscles,
Mm-hmm.
and they go in and they slice it open to give it more space.
Interesting. Oh wow. That's so crazy, bro.
I
Oh my
know.
God. I don't love this for you.
I know. I know. I realized I just went all the way into updates, and those are my updates. I'm done. It didn't take as long as I thought. But what are
No, it
we
didn't.
drinking?
Okay, I was chugging my coffee, bro, because I need to go, but because I need to go. I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, just my normal breve. That's what I'm drinking. Brown sugar honey.
Oh, I
Boring.
got the new Alani.
Ooh,
So it's
that's
strawberry
cute.
sunrise. I
Wait, I
think she's
love the
so
packaging.
cute. I know,
Yeah,
right?
that's so
It's
cute.
beautiful. It's like an orange and strawberry flavor.
Love. That's adorable. I
Okay, that
love
was a
it.
good one, I think. The
I
sound.
love it. Yes,
Okay.
oh, never mind. I almost said I'm drinking my normal breve. I'm like, bro, you just said that. I'm not okay.
I think you need to drink another sip.
I do. All right, let me grab my phone, you guys. That's where my updates live. I have so many updates this week. Maybe it won't take as long too, but we'll see. Okay. So you were saying you completed a New Year goal. I also
Hmm.
completed a New Year goal that I told you guys about. I scheduled
Yay.
a new primary care appointment at a new place. I'm really
Mm.
excited. So, um, Lauren's going to this place that she just happened to go there. She wasn't seeking out anything specific, I don't think. It's just a family doctor that's close to where we all live. And she had a good experience. So I'm like, okay, cool. I was looking, obviously, you guys know I'm on my holistic journey. So I've been looking for a doctor of osteopathic medicine or whatever, a DO. Um, so so Julie was telling me about this, Angelo's mom, but basically regular doctor, like fully licensed doctor physician, but they practice medicine holistically. Like, I don't know, they take a holistic approach. So I was looking for these because I'm like, I don't, if you get real holistic, like those people are not covered by insurance typically, like the real holistic people. But a DO, still a doctor, I guess, I don't know, it's more commonly covered. So I found some DOs near me. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to try it because I hated my primary care last year, you guys know. And I need to go and like get my yearly blood panel and check on everything. But I did not want to go back to this woman who was evil. So I was looking up this DO near me and I found an office that's all DOs, literally 100% DO. So I was like, no way. So I look up the office address. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Lauren's doctor. So I messaged Lauren. I'm like, are they good? Like, I've been looking for holistic doctors. She was like, well, I don't know if they're holistic, but yeah, I love it. And I was like, oh, well, they're all holistic. Like it is. And she's like, oh, cool. I didn't know that. All that to say, I'm seeing a CNP, a
Hmm.
certified nurse practitioner. But I was like, I feel like that's pretty good because they still have to confer with the doctors and all the doctors are DOs. So I feel like that's still a good compromise. I don't know. I don't mind having a nurse practitioner. But all that to say, I completed a New Year goal, you guys. I'm going to the doctor
Yay.
and I'm so proud.
And
So
to
yeah.
be clear, mine is only half completed because I only got the headphones. I still got to make this
True.
place look
That was like
better.
a conjoined. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. Another thing, another catch up, remodeled our bathroom in the last two
Mm.
weeks. So that was really fun. I will try to put on a picture of the screen, you guys, of a little before and after. It's not done. It's kind of a work in progress, if you will, but it's not purple anymore. So I'm happy about that. Here's a before, you guys. Oh, you can barely see it, but literally ripped the sink out. Everything went crazy. I don't even know if I have an after picture, but I'll take one for you all. Painted it. I mean, it's boring. It's white like the rest of my house, but we got a new vanity, which Angelo installed. We got a new sink fixture, so I did all black fixtures, which I feel like looks so sleek. I love
Mm.
that.
I like that with
Um,
like an all white
yeah,
contrast. I
yeah,
love a
it
black
really
and
stands
white
out.
moment.
Same. Yeah, so black trim, black faucet. Um, we're replacing the light fixture. It's not done yet, but it got a black light fixture. It's so modern. I'm like, oh my God, it's so
Oh,
bougie. I just love it.
yay.
Painting the mirror, like edges black and then black towel rod. It just looks so much more sleek. It used to be, for reference, you guys, purple and silver. So it just wasn't the vibes.
And Erica's not even a silver girly, so she had to have
No,
hated this.
I did. And I still have so much silver in my house just because I feel like that's typical. Like light fixtures and stuff are always,
Hmm.
I mean, gold's kind of a little more expensive or bougie, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, I'm slowly like transforming everything. I'm like, no more silver, get it out. I like the black though. I think that's a
Hmm.
move because you can't really go wrong.
Yeah.
Um, I had Cheyenne's birthday party that I've been telling you guys about a lot, so I will forego like talking about it too much because you guys know the details. You saw my wanted poster last week, but the party went really well. Everyone freaking loved their wanted posters. That was like a hit, and then we let everyone take them home, and they were like, "We're gonna frame them on our walls." It was so cute. I
Oh,
actually hand painted. I do think I have a picture of this, you guys. Sorry, it looks like I'm on
okay.
my phone so much, but I have a picture of this sign that I hand painted for the party, and it I hand okay. How many times can she say hand painted? I can't speak today, you guys. Let's see if you can see this. I
Aw.
painted the saloon letters to look, like an old saloon vibe, and it looked really
Mhm.
cute. And so at that, we hung that up, and everyone was obsessed. And then at the end of the party, I was like, Cheyenne, do you want this? And she was like, no, I don't want to keep it. Like it was really big, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to keep it either. So we were just gonna recycle it. And Angelo's friend John, he was like, you guys cannot throw that away. Like, please do not throw that away. And I'm like, what? Do you want it? You want to take it home? He's like, yeah, I'll take it home. Sends me this picture. He hung it in his house. I was like,
Ah,
that is so
that is
adorable.
very cute.
He
I
loved
like
it too
it.
much. So yeah, he hung it in his, I don't know, dorm or whatever, his room with his friend. I don't know. So that was adorable. I was like, aw. He's like, that's too iconic. You guys can't throw this stuff away. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, damn.
That's
So
very
party
funny.
was fun. If you guys want more, check out my YouTube channel. It'll be there soon. And yeah, two more updates. Okay, this is a PSA, a public service announcement. So I went to Old Navy. I never go there
I
like
love Old
ever.
Navy,
I know you
Erica.
do. So I'm excited for this. I wonder if you already know this. But for the people, do you know that Old Navy will price match with their own website? I never
Mm,
thought
I
about
never think
that,
I've
which
had to
makes
think about
sense.
it. Yeah.
But think about it next time because I'm about to tell you.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so I'm shopping there with Taylor. I find two items that I like. I literally got them so I can show you guys.
hmm
I've been looking for a pair of shorts like this for like 2 years. Okay, you can barely tell. They're giving like Jurassic Park.
I get
Okay,
it. I get it.
like
Yeah.
the
They're like cargo
90s. Yeah,
shorts.
like a 90s cargo short in the green color. Okay, these were $29.99, so $30, and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna do it. I've been wanting them for a while, and they were not on any sales. And my friend Taylor was like, look them up online. I was like, oh, they're not on sale. And she's like, just look online because they price matched me last time. $30. I looked them up online. Guess how much I got them for? They price matched it.
$12.
$4. I was shitting myself. And they were like, yeah, we totally price matched. $4. She freaking rang it up. They were gonna
Why was
sell
it
them to
four
me for 30.
dollars?
It was on clearance this color, specifically this color, because online they only had a couple sizes left, but apparently it doesn't matter. They'll still price match you. So then I get this tank top. This is also
That
so
is so
cute.
cute
I
too.
love it so much. It was $8. It was already on sale in the store. I'm like, there's no way it's also on sale online. Taylor was like, just look. I'm like, Taylor, she saved me yesterday. I look it up. It's on sale for $6. So I got the whole outfit for 11 when I would have paid literally $38. I was shook. So I had to bring that to you guys today. I was like, if anyone's shopping at Old Navy, even if you don't think it's going to be on sale, just look it up on the website
That
because
is
holy
so
crap.
crazy.
From $30 to $4, I crapped myself. I was like, no
That
freaking
is
way.
insane because I also well I just ordered these online so it's like not
Yeah.
they couldn't have
Yeah.
price matched me but I just ordered 5 workout tank tops from there because they have my favorite style of workout tank
Oh,
top.
yeah. Yeah. I never just like, I don't know. I just never go in there. And then when I do, usually I don't find anything I like. But this time I was like, wait, what do I like? Everything. Like Old Navy is hitting.
Yeah.
They had a super cute one piece swimsuit. Oh my God. If I weren't tall, it would have been perfect.
Ugh. Do you
Um,
find that it's really hard to get one pieces?
yes, I literally never wear one
Okay.
piece. I
I feel like it would
actually,
just like give you like a Freggie or something bad.
bruh, so the one I tried on, it was so cute. I was gonna see if I could show it to you guys. Wait 1 second. This is a very funny episode. I feel like I'm just talking to my phone. Old Navy one piece swimsuit cream color. It's like one of those oh, came right up. One of those
That's
swimsuits
so
that has a
funny.
pattern on it that's like a very tropically looking pattern. So it has like
Oh,
lobsters and it says
oh.
aloha and little fish. And it's just like one of those, I don't even know how to describe it, but very cute. But I
Yeah.
put it on in my size, which I can't even size up because I don't have boobs. So it's just
It'd be
big.
too much extra
Yeah.
fabric.
So I try on my size, and the scoop neck is literally like this. It's like about to be a nip slip because it's so stretched down. It's
Uh-huh.
cutting my butt cheeks because my butt's too big for a small, but the
Uh-huh.
rest of my body needs a small. And it was just so bad. Oh my God. It was like, honestly, it hurts. It's like literally looks like a singlet, like
Oh
a wrestling
no.
singlet.
That's so bad. I've been seeing on TikTok recently, they're like starting to come out with like the TikTok shop like bathing suits since it's like
Oh, yeah.
springtime
Yeah.
or almost springtime. And I've been seeing one that's like a cutout. So it's like almost like just a bikini on top because it
Mm,
has like a cutout right underneath like where like
yeah.
the cups would land and then it crosses like over your body and cuts to the other side and it's kind of like
Yeah.
high-waisted bottoms but it's like connected on one of the sides and I think it's
Yeah.
so cute.
Ooh, might have to try that out. I know I'm always like, I like the idea. Like for this one, I was like, ooh, that would be perfect. We're gonna live closer to the ocean this year. Like something would be nice that you don't have to worry about. Like you just put it on and it just stays on. Like when you're in the ocean, you
hmm
don't have to like worry about your top flying off. Because I feel
Yeah.
like all the stuff I wear, I have small boobs. Okay, so I'll just say that. So I
Anybody
feel
titty
like
can
any
remember.
yes, any bikini I wear, it's like I can wear a tiny little stringy swimsuit, which is cute,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not trustworthy these
Yeah,
days.
no.
So I'm like, oh, that would have been nice, but I just can never find one that looks okay
And I
or
feel
feels
like the
good.
string bikini is coming back in style, and
Yes.
that's not my favorite type because like I got some broad shoulders and I got some big back muscles. Like I got like wide
Yeah,
lats.
yeah,
I can't be wearing a string bikini because it looks like
yeah.
somebody's like tying me with the string and
I'm
I'm like
crying.
busting out of it. I hate it.
Oh my gosh.
And you just have to find like a bikini or like a bathing suit that looks good for your body type,
Right.
and
We should do an
that one
episode
is
on
not
that.
it. We
Yeah.
should.
We should do an episode on like, yeah, how to see your you
Or
just
search
saying,
like fashion for your body type.
I'm crying. You just saying about the string.
And no, it
So
literally
bad.
looks like
No,
somebody
this
wrapped
reminds
me with
me.
like a shoelace. It's
This is
bad.
no, this is really bad. But it what you're saying reminds me of like when you get a hunk of meat, but they tie it with the.
Yes, and that's what I look like. I swear to God, Erica. It's just
I'm
because like
not
I'm
okay.
I'm not like a stick thin girly.
Oh my
Not very many people
God.
are. So as soon as you put me in a
Right.
string bikini, it looks like you're tying me off and sending me to the
I'm
butcher shop.
crying. I'm literally like sweating because I'm laughing so hard. It's so funny. That's how I felt about my butt in that fucking one piece because it was literally just like cutting through my cheek. I was like, oh my God, like it's not
No,
okay.
literally. Uh, and it's so bad because
Anyway,
well, we should, going back to topic, we should
no, I
do an
love it.
episode on this because
Yes.
I don't think you and I have the same body type. Well,
No.
specifically our height, like that,
Right.
definitely not. But I also feel like our body
The
shapes or
shapes.
whatever they are probably
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, we need to do that because it can be sometimes, which I know literally probably everyone can relate, but sometimes it's so frustrating when you're looking for clothes. It's like, why doesn't everything fit the same? And it's like, because we're all shaped different.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like,
duh.
well, you might be a rectangle, but you might be a
Yeah.
pear and you might be an hourglass, and they only make
Right.
clothes for hourglass people. So
Yeah, we need to do that. TBT, to be
to,
whatever.
to be filmed, TBF.
TBF. Anyways, all that to say, Old Navy.
That's what's
Price
new.
match. Price match. Yeah. I have one more exciting update, you guys. You're not getting very many deets on it, but yesterday I officially had my first call with our old realtor and I was so excited.
Oh,
So I called
yay.
her and I was like, we kind of want to move this year. I gave her all the details and she's like, for not getting paid because she can't be our realtor, but she has recommendations. But for not getting paid, she was so going out of her way to help us still. And I was like, this is so like this woman is so nice. But she was like, I know you didn't really care for your lender last time, and I'm really glad that I found that out. And I was like, oh yeah, that was really awkward because we had to tell her we didn't like the lender, like he kind of sucked. She's like, no, I'm so glad you did. Like no one ever told me. I would have never known. So she was like, I'm gonna give you all my recommendations for these realtors who I think would be good for you. She said, I know a lot of them. They're all excellent people. Some of them are dry. They lack a little personality. She's like, that's not going to work for you. I was like, oh, okay, good point. And then she
That's
was
so
like,
funny.
some of them, they're a little older, not quick with the technology. She's like, that's not going to work for you and
That's
Angela. Like, I
not
know
gonna
it's
work for
not.
you.
I was like, oh my
You're
God,
gonna be sitting there and you're
wait.
gonna be like, all right, grandpa, let's get a
Literally,
move
let's
on
move.
it.
Yeah. So she was like, I'm going to curate people I think would be good for you and Angela, like a good fit. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And then she was like, also, when I talk to them, I'm going to ask them about who their lenders are and look into them as well because I want you guys to have a better experience this time. I was like, oh my God, this is so nice for someone who she literally gets nothing by helping us with this, other than obviously we recommend her to everyone we know. But it was just so nice. I was like, oh my God. And then we want to rent our condo. And she was like, yeah, I can totally help you with that. Like, I'm going to pull together some resources, some lawyers for a lease. I was like, oh my God, this is really nice. So things are happening, you guys,
Yeah,
which
because
that
she
would,
can at least help here, but the area,
yes,
like you're looking to move to a new area,
area
so
she
she
doesn't
can't
cover.
help
Yeah.
with, yeah.
Which is sad because I was like, I really want you. Like, you're my
Yeah.
favorite. I was like, please come with us, but she can't. But yeah, she was so helpful. So that was awesome. And it's like, that made it real. I was like, oh my God, this is real. But you guys know, in the episode where we did our New Year's goals, I talked about wanting to buy a new house. And I never thought, literally, that episode was the first time I spoke it out loud. I literally never thought we'd be here this fast, but here we are. We'll see. New things,
Yay.
new things to come. Anyways, maybe I should have went first so I could breathe. But we're
Yeah,
gonna
I
talk about the
know. I was just
housemaid.
thinking about that because these two episodes are Erica heavy, and I
They
just
are.
realized the next two episodes are me heavy. So I feel like it works
Yes.
out.
True. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the housemaid today. So if you guys have been listening for a few weeks, you know this is the book we were doing for book club, but it's officially here. I think at least two people we know in real life have read this book with us, which is really, really fun. And of course, there's so many of you guys in our bookclubs.com book club. So if you're not already, go ahead and join us over there. I know Vernita finally joined. I was so happy to see her name pop
I
up.
think I saw her too.
Yeah, I was so happy. I'm like, you don't have to, just so you guys all know, like, you don't have to read the books or keep up with anything to join the book club. Like, you could just join and at any time decide, I'm going to read this month or I'm not. And there's no harm. It's just so that you guys get updates of when the book club episode is and what book we're reading. So definitely join us on bookclubs.com. And yeah, we're going to
Yay.
get started. I'm so excited. Um, we're discussing The Housemaid by Freida McFadden, but also it's a series. Marissa finished the whole series quite quickly.
I
I
did.
surprisingly, I wasn't planning to. I was just planning to read the first one by this episode, but I'm already partially of the way done with the third. It's a trilogy, but Marissa informed me that there's also like a half book. So it's like a trilogy and a half, I guess we could call it
Yeah.
that. But all the links to the books will be in the description. So if you all want to check these out and purchase them, I put Amazon links in the episode description today. So yeah, I think that's it. Oh, and be sure to tune into the video. Okay, I have a disclaimer.
Oh,
I don't know if I'm going to call them out by name. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But someone in my life told me that they watch the video while they drive. Do not do
oh.
that. I am here to say stop. Don't do that. That is being stupid. I'm sorry, but that
I'm
is being
not gonna
really dumb.
lie because Kyle does that too, but
No,
he props
Kyle.
his phone up, but he doesn't actually like watch it.
Okay, that's what this person said too. I don't want to see it, you guys. Turn it off. Turn it off. Sleep the screen. I know this person said that too. I don't know if I should call them out, but they're like,
That's so
yeah, I just
funny. I
prop
feel
it
like
up
I
and then
can
I
assume
only,
who it is.
yeah, they were like, I only look when there's like an image or something. I'm like, no, keep your eyes on the road, okay, you guys? So that's all I have to say.
That's
But
very
if you're
funny.
not driving, please head over to Spotify or YouTube. That's where you're going to see the video. And I think I do have a couple pictures today because I actually pulled my dreamcasting early so I didn't have to come up with it on the
I
spot.
forgot.
Oh, think about that while I read.
Wait, it's becoming a movie, so I
It
feel like
is.
I'm jaded.
Do you already know the cast?
I know I
I
know
only knew
part of
one
it.
person. I only knew one person from the
Actually, I know
cast, a
two.
couple. I put them in here, so we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But I still dreamcasted people that are not the people that got cast.
Hmm.
But I knew one. I don't want to say it in case it's not the one you know, but I'm sure it is. But I knew one, and so I actually did choose her, but I put her for a different role than they did because I didn't know what
Oh,
role
that's
she had,
funny.
and I liked her better in a different role. So, anyways, all that to
That's
say,
very
there will be
funny.
photos of the celebrities we choose today because I feel like that helps give like a really good visual. And this is our first book club on video, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I know. Do you want me to help you read the summary just because there is a lot and you're going to be
Oh
talking a
yeah,
bunch? And I
yeah, we
did
could
read
do
the
that.
book.
We could go back and forth like every other
I
point.
see it's like broken up into bullets, so I
Yeah.
can read like one and then you can read the next, maybe.
Perfect. So, yeah, this is what we're going to do, you guys. If you're new to the book club format, we usually read a summary of the book. So, if you haven't read the book at this point and you're not planning to, stick with us and we'll give you all the background you need to know for us to discuss it after. So, we'll read a summary. We're going to rate the book, do some discussion questions, which I have so many and I had a hard time cutting some.
Oh
And then we're
no.
going to talk about the trilogy, maybe probably just briefly. And then we'll dreamcast and talk about the casting for the real movie. So,
Yes.
that's it from Super Summary. This is the summary. I'll go ahead and start us and we'll
Okay.
go from there. So, in the prologue of this first book, The Housemaid, an unnamed maid worries about being arrested after a body is found in the house where she works. The story behind this incident begins as Wilhelmina, or Millie Calloway, interviews for a job as a live-in housekeeper for Nina Winchester, who is a rich, middle-aged woman. Despite Millie's criminal record, she gets the job and moves into the mansion. She's given a tiny room up in the attic that only locks from the outside, and it has a window that doesn't open. And a note from the book is that they say it's painted shut. So,
Mhm. I feel like that's
as
an important characteristic
yeah,
that it should have said there. That
yeah, it's
is
not like it's
smart.
bolted, it's not like screwed in, but it is painted over the like
The
opening or
crack.
whatever.
Everybody
Yeah,
has
the
windows.
crack.
You know what we're talking about.
Yeah. So, unnerved, Millie requests a key to the room, which Nina gives her, along with a new cell phone.
Okay, so the landscaper Enzo warns her of danger, but he won't elaborate. She meets Nina's handsome husband, Andrew, and her 9-year-old daughter, Cecilia. Millie spends hours cleaning the filthy house before fixing dinner. Andrew compliments her cooking and invites her to join them, but she declines as Nina seems irritated. During the night, when Millie wakes up to use the bathroom, the doorknob sticks and she starts to panic. She gets the door open, but has a sense of foreboding.
Unpredictable and high strung, Nina oscillates between being warm and friendly toward Millie, giving her old clothes that don't fit her anymore, and insisting that Millie just call her Nina instead of Mrs. Winchester.
Hmm.
And she bounces back to accusing Millie of things that Millie has not done, creating huge messes in the house, and then yelling at or yelling at Millie to clean them up. And then, okay, Cecilia, the daughter. Cecilia is, I did not write this, you guys, a spoiled, bratty child. And
But she is.
yeah, she is spoiled. I was like, I didn't write it. It sounds really rude, but that's what it says. And the only tolerable member of the family is Andrew, who's kind and he kind of appreciates everything Millie does. He's always thanking her. So Millie hears gossip from other mothers and nannies about Nina's mental health and discovers an antipsychotic medication, among others, in Nina's bathroom cabinet as she was snooping.
Hmm.
In addition, she learns that Nina spent time in a psychiatric hospital after trying to kill Cecilia, the daughter, when Cecilia was a baby.
I feel like that was a crazy part.
That was a crazy, so
It
much of
was a
this book
really
was a
crazy
crazy
book.
part. Yeah.
Nina and Andrew separately confide in Millie that they're trying to have a child. Andrew's especially excited to become a father. Cecilia isn't his biological daughter. However, a fertility specialist determines that Nina can't have any more children, which devastates the couple. The next night, Millie overhears Nina raging at Andrew about how a younger woman would make him happier. To cheer Nina up, Andrew asks Millie to book tickets to a Broadway show. However, Nina gives her the wrong dates and can't go. Andrew pacifies Nina and once she leaves, offers Millie the tickets. Oh, I thought I was getting confused. He does pacify Nina and then when she leaves, offers Millie the tickets. She has no one to go with, so Andrew accompanies her. They have a great time and drink too much at dinner afterwards, so they stay at a hotel in the city overnight. They give in to their mutual attraction and have sex, but agree that it can't happen again. However, Millie soon realizes that Nina knows about her and Andrew. Nina makes Millie's life hell and even accuses Millie of stealing clothes that she gave her. So at the very beginning of the book, Nina like gifts Millie a bunch of clothes, but then Nina turns around and accuses Millie of stealing them at this point.
They kind of paint Nina as like bipolar throughout the
Yeah,
beginning of the book, at least.
yeah. Andrew defends Millie, confessing that he has feelings for her and orders Nina to leave.
So after Nina leaves, Andrew and Millie sleep together, and he claims that he wants to give them like a real shot at things. So in the morning, Andrew fires Enzo. So if you don't remember, that's the like landscaper who works on the house. But Andrew feels like he hangs around the house too much, so he's gone. So while grocery shopping, Millie runs into a friend of Nina's who reveals that Nina installed a tracking app on Millie's phone, which is not that straightforward. So basically, Millie was talking to the friend, and the friend was like, "Oh, I'm so surprised. Like, you're not, concerned that she's always tracking you." And Millie was like, "What?"
What?
Millie had no idea. So she was stunned and she returned home to just like spend the rest of the day reading and trying to chill. So she receives a phone call from a blocked number and it warns her to stay away from Andrew. And she just kind of assumes that the caller is Nina, like Nina's mad she slept with her husband. So she just ignores it. So then, as Millie's like starting to pack her things to move down into the main house from her little attic bedroom, Andrew comes home, and Millie doesn't disclose any details from the day concerning Nina. So she and Andrew just end up sleeping together in her room in the attic. Which, first of all, is just
Yeah,
like
very
why?
weird.
But she wakes up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, and she finds herself locked into the room. Surprise, surprise! Her phone is missing, and there's just three heavy books like mysteriously sitting in the middle of the room.
Like huge textbooks is what I
Like huge.
assumed.
Yeah, yeah.
So next there's a flashback from Nina's perspective and it reveals the true events of the past years. Nina is forced to drop out of college and begins working after she gets pregnant after a drunken one-night stand. Andrew is the CEO of the company where she works. A charming, handsome man, he asks her out. After a whirlwind of courtship, they married, but she soon learns that he has a hidden sadistic tendencies. He often locks her in the attic and tortures her as a punishment for minor transgressions. He drugs her and her baby, places Cecilia in the bathtub, and makes it look like Nina did it, which lands her in that psychiatric hospital stay with a diagnosis of depression and delusions, ensuring that no one will believe her account of things.
Crazy.
I know,
Okay.
that's where I was like, ah.
Yeah, yeah, right. So after trying to escape, Nina confides in Enzo, the landscaper, who tells her that his sister was actually in a similar situation and died because of her husband's abuse. So Enzo promises to help Nina escape the situation, and she decides to hire someone to replace her. So she finds Millie. Through a private investigator, she learns that Millie was in prison for murder in high school. So Millie actually killed a boy who was trying to rape her friend.
Mhm.
So Millie's pretty face belies a long history of violent retaliation against people who wronged her. So Nina thought she was perfect for the job. Nina hires
Mhm.
Millie to kill Andrew, but she doesn't tell Andrew or Enzo this. So Enzo doesn't know. He thinks,
She's
whatever.
just being the next,
Yeah,
like,
the next
the next
nanny or
victim of
whatever.
Andrew.
Yes, yes. So Millie, she's young and pretty, And Nina knows like Andrew will be attracted to this girl. And this girl's desperate for a job because she has criminal
Yeah.
history. So she's like, this is a win-win-win.
And she
So
was living in her car at the time. And so
yeah,
she
she
was
had
like the
nothing.
live-in nanny. So she was like, oh, of course, this is
Perfect.
better.
Yeah. And literally Millie came and they were like, you can start today, like right away. So she stays on despite Nina's mistreatment of her. So Millie stays around. And then Nina deliberately drives Millie to hate her. So she kind of tries to frame her as a victim to earn Andrew's sympathy and set up opportunities for Andrew and Millie to be alone together, which culminates in Andrew and Millie sleeping together and Andrew throwing Nina out of the house. So it's like this was Nina's master plan. She's literally a mastermind. She manipulated the whole situation, found a replacement, and she did all of this as a means to get out because she felt like she couldn't leave on her own free will without getting
Yeah. Especially
abused, killed,
because
whatever.
like Andrew had painted her in such like a crazy
Crazy
light.
light.
Like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
gave
yeah.
her like the label of crazy in the town. So if she tried to leave, they're like, oh, well, she's just like on
Yeah.
another psychotic break.
Yeah, and he said that if she tried to leave or take her daughter or whatever, he would get her put back in the mental hospital.
hmm So Andrew eventually returns to Millie, who is locked in the attic, and instructs her to balance those heavy books on her stomach for 3 hours as punishment for not replacing the books she read. So this kind of skipped over it earlier in the summary, but she had read some books around the house, just like out of the library, and never replaced them. So he's like, well, you didn't put the books back on the shelf, so now you have to sit with books on your belly. He makes her repeat the exercise after she falls short by a minute the first time. When he opens the door, however, Millie pepper sprays him with a bottle that Nina had left for her in the room. He steals Andrew's phone and turns the tables on him, locking him in and torturing him similarly. And they don't say how, but she like makes him put them on like his pelvis, so it's like
Oh
crushing
yeah.
his genitals.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Important note. So, meanwhile, while this is happening, Enzo, he's been watching the house every day just to keep an eye out because they don't really talk about this, but Enzo did not agree with Nina's approach to fixing the
Mhm.
situation. So, he wanted to help her as means to like his sister had died from abuse. And so he was really passionate about helping her get out of the situation. But he did not like that she just like one for one replaced Millie and said, fuck you, I'm
Yeah.
out. Like he did not like that. So he's still there and he's been watching the house and he starts to worry because Millie hasn't left the house in days. So he calls Nina insisting that they go back to help Millie. So Nina like hesitantly finally agrees, and when she returns, she finds the house completely empty, and she assumes that Millie is locked upstairs in the room. So she unlocks the door to help, and there she finds Andrew's decomposing body.
Yeah.
So then Millie appears, confessing to locking Andrew in there for almost 6 days. And Millie begins to cry because she's worried that she's going to go back to prison for life for doing
hmm
this. So not wanting Millie to bear the consequences of something that she tricked her into doing, Nina asks her to leave so that she can take the fall.
So during the detective's interrogation, Nina learns that his daughter was once engaged to Andrew. What?
Yeah, the detective's daughter was
Oh,
once
yes,
engaged to Andrew,
yes.
the ex-girlfriend, and
Yeah,
Nina didn't realize that that was the dad of the
yeah.
ex-girlfriend.
Okay, I understand. I just don't like how that
Yeah,
sentence
I
is
know.
written. Although she never disclosed what happened, she changed her name and moved away. The detective reveals that the police never investigated Nina's claims of being locked in the attic because of the pull that the Winchesters had over the department. So Andrew had like friends in the police department, so they never looked into it. He rules Andrew's death as an accident and just closes the case. At Andrew's wake, Evelyn Winchester, Andrew's mother, reveals to Nina that she had disciplined Andrew as a child in a similar manner to how Andrew had tortured Nina. And she praises Nina for stepping up and disciplining Andrew in the same way and then just walks away.
Ew, I hated that.
I know, I
Um,
did too, but I was like, this is kind of good. Like,
yeah,
I hate that the mom is like gross,
yeah,
but I liked how,
they wrapped it up there.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so last part, Nina and Cecilia moved off to California, and then Millie just lives off the money that Nina sends her after Andrew's death. So Nina kind of supports her and just helped her get out of the situation as well. And then almost a year later, Millie interviews for a new job at another household with a woman to whom Nina recommended her to. So Millie realizes that this woman is also being abused by her husband and assures that she can help fix that. So
Mhm.
kind of ends off with I was trying to think of the word for this. I can't think of the word for this, but Millie's kind of like a modern day. I was going to say crusader. I don't really feel like that's the right word, but she's like
Like a Robin Hood kind of
yeah, she's like
like
a
take
doing
from
bad for
the
good. Like she's like
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but you guys kind of get the message. She's kind of
Hmm.
like a modern, like, I don't know, she's
I think it's like
a
Robin Hood
justice
because Robin
seeker.
Hood steals from the rich to give to the poor. So like
Mm,
you're stealing from the bad to give to the good, maybe.
yeah, she's like trying to fight. She's trying to be an advocate for the people that can't stand up for themselves, but she's also
Hmm.
killing people. So, you know,
She is also
whatever.
committing homicide.
Literally.
So
So ratings time. Before we get into discussions, I just want to give our broad rating. So, what did you think of the book and how are you going to rate it? Just the first book.
yeah, on Goodreads, I gave it a 5 out of 5. I think that this book
What?
was really good. I really liked the way that Freida McFadden like kept the suspense the whole time. So like
Yeah.
with the like main character Nina like having that like bipolar narrative, it
Yeah.
was really cool to see how she had did that in the book. And I also
Mm-hmm.
thought that it really added to the suspense. So I thought that that was a really good aspect to the book. And on book clubs, I think I'll give it like an 8.5 out of 10. I don't
Yeah.
think it's a perfect book, but I think that it was still really, really good.
Yeah, I agree. I feel similarly. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. I was talking about this with Grace because, or Vernita, whatever, because she finished it pretty fast. Her and Marissa both were like just read it in 2 seconds. And I didn't start it for a while, but once I finished it, her and I talked about it, and I overall liked it. But I do have to say, this is not a spoiler, but I think I like it better as a whole series than I liked the book by
Mm.
itself. At first, I was like, I don't know, maybe 3.5. Like I was really just like, I don't know, I didn't love how it ended. What I didn't love is I always want, and this is so boring. This doesn't make a good book for the record. Like, I know that this is why it's not like this, but I'm like, the fact that she just abused him back till she killed him, I didn't like it. I was just like, just
Yeah.
call the police, be the bigger person. But I get that that wouldn't make a good book. So
Yeah.
I think I would have rated it 3.5 if I only read the first book. And I'm trying not to be influenced by the rest of the series, but I am. And I'm like, okay, the way I was so tied to it and kept coming back's worth something. So I'm giving it
Mhm.
a 4
I
out of
also
5.
think I understand like your dilemma of like why didn't you just call the police and like get him in
Yeah.
trouble, but I think that it's showing like on a drastic scale people
Right.
that are in abusive relationships and how they can't
You
just do
can't.
that
Yeah.
because they're scared for their lives. Like when we read It Ends With Us, it's a similar situation. She didn't just call the police until it
Right.
happened multiple times. So,
Yeah.
and she still even needed help getting out after that. So I think that
Yeah.
it sort of
It
like
makes sense.
lends to that sort of narrative.
Yeah. It makes sense. It's just like you said, it's such a like dramatic scale
Hmm.
of it that I'm just like, I just want everyone to be not killing people. But
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
think
that's the
that's why
point.
you like a romance book
Yes,
and I
exactly.
like the
I'm
this
like, oh
kind
my
of
God,
book.
stop. But I have to say, I liked that this wasn't smut. I feel like everything these days is thriller and smut, murder and smut, which by the way, I don't dislike smut. There's tons of smut stuff I read, but I liked that this was just regular, like
Hmm.
no smut, but you
I
still
mean, there
get
was like
the
the
thriller.
affair, but it wasn't
Yeah,
like
it wasn't like
hot. It
super,
wasn't like
yeah,
meant to
yeah.
be
They didn't make it
sexy.
crazy. So I liked that. Book clubs, I'm thinking 7.5 or 8.
Hmm.
I don't know if you can get a half, but yeah, I think we're
I don't
pretty
know if you can
aligned.
get a half either. So if it's an eight and a
Yeah.
half, if I can't do 8.5, I'll do an 8.
Okay, yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like I'd go down versus up. So that's our ratings, and now we're gonna talk
Yay.
about the discussion questions for the housemaid, and we're at 40 minutes, so we're doing good. I've been keeping time.
Yay.
Yeah. So, okay, did you see the midpoint plot twist coming, which they're calling the midpoint plot twist when it switched to Nina's point of view, and we find out that it was all calculated? And if so, what clues did you notice in part one that alerted you to the twist?
I feel like I didn't see it coming
I
because
didn't either.
I remember when I got to part 2 and it was
Yeah.
like the first sentence where it like switches to Nina's perspective and I read the first like I guess paragraph or first snippet of that chapter and I was
Right.
like, wait a
What?
second, what?
Yeah.
I feel like I
100%.
didn't see it coming.
I didn't either, and they really made me hate Nina. I'm like, this bitch, like I hate her. And then in the
Yeah.
second half, it's like they kind of make you really feel for her, and you're like, wait, I really care for Nina. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, yeah. So I guess that's another note to why I gave it a 4 not a 5, because when you look back at it, it's like, wait, I didn't see any of it coming, and it was written so well that you're like, you feel multiple feelings about the same character. Like I hate
Yeah,
them,
and
I love them,
that's something like with Freida McFadden I've heard a
so
lot is that
good.
she's really good at the twist narrative of a
Yeah,
book and I
I
think
like
that I
that.
agree. Like she didn't really give anything away that made me
Yeah,
question it.
that's so true. Okay, so sticking with Nina, while Nina was intentionally, as it turns out, terrible to Millie, do you think it justifies Millie starting an affair with Andrew? Why or why not? Thought this was interesting.
I think no. I
Yeah.
don't think it justifies her starting the affair. I understand why she did it, sort of as like a rebellion type of thing,
Yeah.
but I think that she could have done something similar by just being rude back to Nina.
Right. Right.
Like
She didn't have
being
to go after the
like
guy.
Nina was honestly being a bitch to her the first
Yeah.
half of the book, so like
Literally.
Millie could have just been a bitch back.
It's true. It's true. I agree. I don't think it justifies it, but that's how I feel about everything because I am like a normal, not to say normal, but like I'm a regular, reasonable person. So I don't like think in the ways of this book, which is exactly why I'm like, don't abuse him back, don't kill him, and I'm like, don't just have an affair. So everything that I read like that, I'm just like, no, it's not justified, but it makes a good story. And
Yeah.
in the end, it worked out for Nina's plan. So it's like whether it was justified or not, it's what she wanted. She got what she wanted. So
Hmm.
kind of worked out. There's a lot of Nina questions, but we're almost done with them. So
That's okay.
Nina was certainly in a desperate situation, but do you think that she was justified? Again, we're talking about just in recruiting Millie and setting her up the way she did. How did the midpoint twist change your perception of Nina? Which we kind of just said that.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about the second half, but
Yeah.
I think she was justified seeking out
Yeah.
somebody. I
Yeah.
think that she might have done it in the wrong way, just because like what we were talking about with her and Enzo having the conversations of how like Nina was doing it wrong.
Right.
I think she was justified in finding somebody that could help
Help
her.
her. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like maybe that is still Millie, but you don't have to leave her as like the new
Like leave her
victim.
high and dry. Right. Yeah, I think Nina did a good selection, obviously. She chose the right bitch. And that's what we
Mhm.
learn throughout the series is that Millie is always saying, like, she literally can't turn a blind eye. Like she cannot fathom turning a blind eye to any situation. So she chose the right bitch for the situation. She did a good job in her choosing.
Yeah,
But
and she's an
yeah,
advocate for the people that can't speak up, which is what you were talking about
right.
earlier. So like when it talks about
Literally.
what she did in high school and like killed somebody, she
Yeah.
was trying to save a friend.
Right. She's not just like going around slaughtering people for the funsies. Like there's
Yeah.
always like a really, really, really strong reason why she did it.
Does she do it in a way that doesn't seem like, does she do it in a way that seems just? No, because she
Right.
did pull out Andrew's teeth until he died.
Yeah,
So,
I know. And like just left him in a room for 6 days and like never came back.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is too for me. Like it's not necessarily the story of the murder, but it's just like, oh my God, not the 6 days of murdering, the pulling out the teeth. It just made me feel
Like
like
she is
gross.
sadistic.
Right.
So, like if you just went in there and you beat somebody up, which is more like the story of what happened when she was in high school, I
Right.
feel like that's more of a justified punishment. Like you
Yeah.
just like
It
beat
feels
somebody
more
up
of a
because you're trying,
defense. Yeah.
yes, not like increasingly building the pain of
Right.
pulling their
Just
teeth out.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, there was a element of she probably enjoyed it a little bit, which makes sense as to her, I don't know, personality. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but
It's very hard.
yeah, I agree there. And Nina, okay, so the next one is that Nina could have let Millie take the fall for Andrew's death, but she didn't. She chose to cover for her
Hmm.
after much prompting from Enzo, it says as a note. Did this further change your view of Nina? And is Nina ultimately a good or bad person? I thought this was an interesting question. I feel I can start on this one because I feel like I keep
Yeah.
saying I agree. But um this did change my view of Nina. And again, no spoilers, but into the next couple books, which we're going to talk about them kind of broadly, I had a hard time like distinguishing between Nina and the new characters because Nina's not in the new books. There are new
Hmm.
characters in the new books, but I kept wanting to like think about Nina and being like, oh yeah, like she takes the fall, she's like so good. And then you have these new characters and I'm having a hard time not relating her to them because in the end I really actually feel like I ended up liking Nina and I was like, okay, she had a little bit of the guilt. She had a little bit of the moral compass. She went back for Millie. She took the fall for the death, which ended up working out in her favor because nobody took the fall for the death in the end, which might not have happened if Millie was the
That's
one. Like
true.
Millie would have just went to prison and that would have been the end of it. But Nina took the fall and no one went to prison. So kind of interesting twist there. Um, is she ultimately a good or bad person? I feel like it's kind of a silly question. I honestly just don't even like that question, but I don't think she's a bad person. I'll say that. I don't know if I would
Yeah,
say
I
like
feel
she's
like
holy, but she's not a bad person.
I don't think people are inherently good or bad people. I think
Right.
everybody has both in them.
I
So I
agree.
feel like that's a hard question to
It's
answer.
kind of silly.
But I think that Nina not letting Millie take the fall for the death is admirable because like she did
Agree.
put her in the situation to take the fall for the
True.
death from the very beginning. So I
Yeah.
think it shows like the character growth in that of like her being like, okay, well, obviously I can't just let this like young 20s, right? That's how old
Right.
Millie's meant to be
I think
perceived
so.
as.
Yeah.
Is like young 20-year-old, like a whole, like unhoused person that's just trying to
Right.
find like somebody to help them. And she like actually lets her
Yeah.
like stay out of prison, I guess.
Yeah, now that you say that, I never thought about it before, but I guess too we maybe we're conditioned by the book to believe by the end that Nina grew a soft spot for Millie and getting to know
Mhm.
her over the time too. Like I didn't really think of that, but Nina did really get to know her. Actually, this was a question. I don't think I chose this as one of my questions because I felt like it was a silly one, but it mentioned a quote from the book where Nina, recommended Millie to the new family,
Mhm.
and then Millie said Nina knows me better than I know myself. Like that was a quote from the book.
Oh,
And I thought that was interesting because I did not feel like they got that close in the amount of time that we read the book. But I think it was trying to speak to like they got to know each other. Maybe Nina had a little soft spot for her in a
yeah,
way. Or
that's
maybe she
true.
saw her younger self in her because they are supposed to like not look alike, but I think they are supposed to be kind of similar vibes and looks.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, they
whatever.
are.
Yeah.
And I
And
think she
let's
chose her specifically because of that too, because she was like, I see
exactly
my young self
self in her.
in Millie.
Yeah, that and she knew that Andrew would fall for her because she looks like her.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the last. Oh wait, no, it's not. Oh wait, yes, it is. This is the last Nina-centric question. So Nina thought she would go to jail, but she lucked out that Detective Connors, who investigated the death, was the father of Andrew's former fiance, Kathleen, like we were talking about, and he chose to help cover up the crime. Did you like this coincidence, or did it seem too convenient or too contrived for you?
I think I liked it.
I did too.
It didn't
Yeah,
like is definitely too convenient. And now that I'm reading the question, I'm like, yeah, definitely like, of course it was. Like,
yeah.
but I think that it
I didn't.
lended to the story of nobody going to jail for it.
Yeah, I didn't mind it at all. I didn't find it too convenient. I didn't even really think about it. I kind of forgot about Kathleen for most of the book. So by the end when it got
That's
there, I was like,
true.
"Oh wait, I forgot about her." Like I actually really liked that tie-in and I think it helped the story a lot. Like astronomical
Hmm.
because how else would they have gotten to that point? I don't know.
Yeah, and
But
I
yeah, I
think
liked
that
it.
as the author, she had to keep it like open-ended so that she could continue
Right.
the series because I think that she really liked writing this series, but
Right.
I like it.
Same. Okay, a few more. We're going to rapid fire. Millie has a strong sense of justice. So, what's right and what's wrong, air quotes.
Hmm.
But she is also extremely violent. Did you like her character? Why or why not? Just
I
abroad.
did
Do
like
you like her?
her.
Yeah,
I
I
did.
did. I liked her. I definitely, obviously think, like, I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, oh, Millie, no, you're going to make it worse. Like, sometimes she stresses me out a little bit. But that's like the point. You always want a flawed main character, I feel like. So, that
Yeah.
helps.
And I liked it because like you don't often get the the helper being somebody
Right.
that can be perceived as bad. So like she
Yeah.
was always perceived like not a good person,
Yeah.
and I think that that was a really interesting main character because while she is still serving that justice that she like has such a strong sense of, I think
Mm-hmm.
that it was interesting the way that she did it. And I like a female main character that's not
Yeah.
willing to like stand down, and I feel
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
was her.
Yeah, I liked that too. I'm just glancing through to see if we even want to do all of these. It says
This
McFadden's
is so
written a sequel. Have you read it? Will you be
that's
reading it?
so
LOL.
funny.
We both already started. Let's talk about Enzo for a second. The character of Enzo is a bit of a cipher in the first part of the novel, but turns out to be deeply involved in Nina's scheme to escape Andrew's clutches. What do you think of Enzo's character?
I feel like I'm having a hard time answering this because he is a recurring character in
He is a
all of the
recurring character.
books.
It is hard to answer without like, yeah, I don't want to like super give anything away. But I liked that. So Enzo in the book, for those of you who didn't read it, he is always not speaking English very much. Okay, so
Because
like
he's from Italy.
yeah, he's known to just like say a few words here and there in Italian, I guess, and just be quiet and reserved, and like he just is always
He's a
gardening.
watcher.
Yeah, he's always gardening. He's never talking, even when prompted. So like Millie was really trying to get to know him. I think she was trying to find like some sort of solace or some sort of friendship in this new like house that she was in where she was really uncomfortable and like Nina was mean to her, or whatever. And he would never entertain it very much. And when he did, he was very cryptic.
And he was like, get
So
the fuck out. And like
yeah,
that
he's
was
like, you need
it.
to leave, you need to leave. And so this whole time she like probably rightfully assumed that Nina was who she should get away from because she was so mean to her. In the
Yes.
end, it was Andrew, and he didn't really do a good job of warning her of that, honestly, during the book. But he What was I gonna say? Oh, he knows how to speak English well. Like
Like
it's an
completely.
act. Yeah. So like I thought that was interesting that that's the way she chose to work with Enzo is like this is all kind of an act. He just does it for the fun of it, or like a lot of the neighborhood like housewives think he's hot and like they
Hmm.
really get into the Italian persona. So like he just hypes it up for them so he can get paid and make more money. But he really knows English perfectly well and can understand her the whole time. So I thought that was interesting because, in a little bit of a way, it infuriates me because I'm like, he could have said more, but it's just all part of the character. So, yeah, that's what I think
Yeah,
about
I
Enzo.
agree. I really liked his character. I thought that it
Yeah,
was like it also built the suspense that he was like acting like he couldn't speak English and was being that cipher at the beginning of the book of like
right.
being guarded in the his warnings. But I thought that it was really cool how he had like actually been super in the know,
Yeah,
and him and Nina had actually been like confidants with each other. So like
right.
Nina had been like disclosing what's happening with Andrew to Enzo the whole time.
Yeah.
And didn't they even have like a side relationship
Yes,
for
they
a little
did.
bit?
Yes, that and I feel like it doesn't talk about this in the summary enough, but Enzo was a major part in getting her out. He was like the guy who
Yes.
could have connection to passports. He's a guy
With
who had a connection with
everything.
money. Like they had money stashed here and there and like different places and like he was a huge catalyst in getting her out and they didn't really highlight that enough. But yeah, they also did have a little bit of a fling. He met her at the hotel after
They did a
and
little kissy kiss.
yeah, so it was interesting. Last question because I do like this one. So we heard from Millie's point of view at the beginning, we and end, and then we heard from Nina's point of view in the middle too. Would you have wanted to hear from Andrew's point of view? Why or why not?
I think maybe like a chapter or two. I don't think I
Yeah,
want to know like his
the whole
entire
story. Yeah.
background story, but I think maybe one chapter of when it was Nina's point of view and she was
Hmm.
talking about like how she first got locked in the attic.
Yeah.
I think one chapter from him being like, oh, like kind of like rationalizing why he did it or like explaining why
Yes,
he did it. I thought that would be really cool. And then maybe even
I
at the end
agree.
of the book after Millie had locked him away, like a chapter of what he's thinking while he's in the
Mm.
attic. I think that would have been really
Yeah.
cool.
Completely agree. I wouldn't want a whole section. Like Nina got a whole part. I guess the book was kind of in parts. I feel like she got most
Yeah,
of
I
a
think
whole
there was
part.
three parts. Like first part was
Yeah.
all Millie, second part was all Nina, and
And then
then
it
the
was
last part
combo.
was just Millie, but it was also Nina's point of view, like
Yeah.
sort of meshed
Spread
in.
throughout. Yeah. I agree. I wouldn't want a whole part from him, maybe a chapter or two, but I do think it would be even more compelling because I know Freida McFadden can do it. She would make us like him. And if she could make us like feel for him for
That's
a minute
true.
about like his abuse as a child and like his crazy mom, I think that would be really compelling for the story,
I
actually.
think it'd
So,
be cool to have a retroactive prequel because how
I like that.
Mrs. Winchester at the funeral like comes up and is like,
Yeah.
I like your vindictiveness, Nina, and I like that you
Yeah.
got him
She's like,
killed.
I'm proud of you for punishing him or
Even if
whatever.
it's a mini book, sort of like
I like
the
that.
second and a half book, I think that that would be really
Second.
interesting.
Yeah, no, that would be really good. And I do like that idea because I just feel like at first my instinct was to answer no to this question. I don't want to hear from Andrew. I don't care because he is like not the best. But I do think it would be really compelling. And I think she could do it. Like she could make us feel for him. And that would be
Yeah, like
interesting.
I want to see the chapter where it's like that bitch got me. Like
Yeah.
it's like the last chapter before we learn that Millie's gonna kill him and it's like fuck, she figured it out and she got me
Right.
locked in this room and now she's gonna torture me. Like I this is
Yeah.
what I've had coming for years.
Right. I highly recommend you guys read this if you haven't. And I don't think we've given too much away to where it won't be fun. I think it would honestly still be fun to
Oh
read.
yeah, I think that the twists and turns were like
They're good.
they're even if we explain what happened after them, I feel
Yeah.
like it's still a good journey to go on by reading the book.
Agree. So, okay, I want to talk about the trilogy briefly. So, I have two
Mhm.
options here. I thought we could either just talk about it broadly without spoiling the content, and I have some questions that we can answer. Or if you want to spoil the content, I can take off my headphones and you can say your favorite parts of like the whole trilogy. How do you feel?
I I feel like we can just talk about it as a whole because
Okay.
I really want to talk about what happened at the very end of the third book, but I want to wait
I'm not
until
there.
somebody can talk
Yeah.
with
Okay,
me.
well, maybe we have a follow-up episode where we just talk
We
about the
could.
trilogy as a whole, because I would like
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe even just like not a book club, but just in
Maybe
addition.
yeah, maybe we like write a couple notes and then when the first book movie comes out, we can like
Ooh,
talk
watch
about
it.
it.
Yeah, and we should watch it. Okay, love that. So, as mentioned, like I said, this is the first of three. but 3.5. So I don't know. I keep calling it a trilogy.
I
Uh,
think it's just a trilogy.
yeah, in the Housemaid series by Freida McFadden. So Marissa read the whole series, like we said, and she even read the half book. I'm on the third book. Didn't know there was a half book, so I skipped it. But I'm going to tell you what they're all called really quick, really quack before we get
Really
into
quack.
it. So the first one's the Housemaid. The second one is the Housemaid's Secret, and then 2.5 is the Housemaid's Wedding, and then 3 is the Housemaid is Watching. So those are the
Hmm.
book titles in order. So as a whole, and I'll say my thoughts of I am probably 15-20% into the third book. Did
So
you
you're like
like the
still in the
series?
story building
Yeah.
phase.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm still pretty new. Um, yeah, I would tell you what I'm at, but I don't want to spoil for anybody. But
Mhm.
do you like the series overall? Simple
I
first
really
question.
liked the series. I
You
think
texted
that
me after the third one. You were like, "What the heck?"
that's why I'm saying like I can't wait until you
Yeah.
get to like when the twist happens. I think it's at the
Yeah.
very like it's in part 3 of the final
Okay.
book when you like learn what the twist is.
Yeah.
And I was on the opposite track. And when I read the first line of that, like part 3, I was like, what just
Oh my
happened?
gosh.
And I feel like I'm curious if you're going to feel the same because I didn't
Yeah.
see what was coming, but I literally wrote the entire story with the one track in mind. And then I
Right.
read that part and I was like,
Just threw you off.
like
Yeah.
I literally had to do a 180. But I did really like the series. Each book in itself is very different. Even
Yes.
though the main character of Millie is the same throughout all 3 books,
Yeah.
she does things completely differently.
That's what I liked. I like that it's not just a continuation of the same story. It is. It is and it isn't. It's a
It
continuation of
isn't,
the
it
same story.
isn't.
Like Millie's still her. She's still like a maid. That's still her kind of like background and her history, but it kind of follows her through her life as she gets older and like her experiences. And you kind of get introduced. Like I was telling Grace about this with the second book, and I don't think this is a spoiler for you guys, but in the second book, it starts and she has a whole new family. Like she's with a whole new family, and it's no Winchesters. There's not even really that much talk about anything that happened in the
And
first
it's not
book.
even the family that was mentioned at the end of the
No,
last
no.
book,
It's something
like the
completely
first book.
different, which I like that. I like that it's like a fresh thing each time. And that's why I was saying it was hard not to put Nina in the shoes of one of the characters in the next book because I was like, wait, it's
Hmm.
hard not to relate them, but it's not the same story.
Yeah, and each like Erica's saying, each family that she is like intertwined with,
Yeah.
like well, I guess in the third book it's like a
A little
completely
different.
different,
Yeah.
but the second book she is helping another family like as
Yeah.
another housemaid, and the the scenario there is entirely different than the
So
first
different.
one.
Yeah.
Like in that book, the wife is really absent and the husband is super forward in the book,
Right.
and that's like
Just a different
different than what
dynamic.
you
Yeah.
experience in the first book. So it's really
True.
hard, especially if you're going into it like Erica is thinking that the main woman character that Nina is
Yeah.
helping is going to be like, or that Millie's helping is going to be like Nina.
Similar.
It's
Yeah.
not because the wife is absent in the
Yeah.
second book.
Completely different. Completely different. So I was really thrown off by the ending of that book too, just because I was projecting other characters onto the characters,
Yeah.
which is
I
kind of
also
funny.
I think that it's really interesting because in the second and the third book, and I know you're not too far into the third book,
Yeah.
but there's the main storyline and then there's
Mm,
something else happening that is also building suspense. So
right.
like in the second book, there you're led to be believed that there's a stalker for
Yeah.
Millie and she
Yeah.
can't tell if it's the person that she's helping in the house that she's
Right.
being the maid for or what's happening.
Like, yeah,
So
she has no
that's
clue.
really building the suspense there. And there's something similar to like that scenario in the third book too. So I feel like
Yeah.
that continues to keep the series good because oftentimes as you continue through a series, the third book sucks. And
Yeah. You're
even in the
bored.
third book, there's a on Kindle, you know how it'll show you like how many people have highlighted things.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
There's a line that Freida McFadden writes in the third book, and it's like, well, usually by the time you get to the end of a I'm having a stroke. Trilogy,
Trilogy.
it sucks. And
Right.
I was like, that's really funny that she said that because I still
Yeah.
really, really thoroughly enjoyed the third book.
That's good. Yeah. I'm enjoying it so far. I mean, I'm not very far. I am getting a little annoyed at this point in the third book, and I'm sure you can probably guess at what point I'm at, but I'm just like getting annoyed at one of the main characters, and I just don't understand what's going on. And I'm just like, I want to know. So that is making me read it fast though. Like I am
Yes.
flying.
Yeah.
So I like it.
I also
Um,
think by the time you get to the third book, Millie does take a step back and she's
yeah.
less of the focus of the book.
Yeah.
Is she still important and like really important to the storyline?
Right.
Yes, but it's definitely like I've read something on Reddit saying the housemaid is watching. It
Hmm.
truly is because Millie's meant to be the person that's the housemaid. Like
Mm,
that's like the name of all the
interesting.
books.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And she is like
Right.
really just watching in the last
It's
book, which was
interesting.
the thing that was like maybe puts that book a little bit lower, but
Hmm.
that's it.
Okay, I want to know, would you recommend the series to someone who's never read it? And then would you
Oh,
recommend the series to someone who's read only the first book and they weren't really like obsessed?
I would definitely recommend it to somebody that's never read
Yeah,
it.
same.
And then if somebody didn't like the first book, I feel like that's hard for me to say that I would tell you to continue because I think the second book is really good, but if you don't like it because of Millie, I don't think you
Mm-hmm.
would like the
That's
series.
a good point. I was gonna say, so I would recommend it, yes, to someone who's never read it. And I do want to note, I think this is a good intro to the genre. I think it
Hmm.
was very easy to consume. You guys know I usually read like a romance, like a boring cookie cutter, like same book over and over kind of thing. And I feel like this is a good intro into the genre. I guess, is it thriller or is it
I think so. Thriller
mystery? Kind of,
mystery
yeah,
is
like
what
a
I would
tie-in.
say.
But I think it's a nice ease
Suspense.
in, yeah, suspense because it's not crazy, but it is. I guess it's a maybe I don't know. Whatever. I just think
I
it's a good
love a
intro.
twisty, turny book. And oftentimes, when you get into thrillers that have a female main
Yeah.
character, especially in the thriller mystery genre, it's usually a drugged up narrator. Like the
Mm,
narrator is unreliable, she's addicted to
right.
drugs. And I hate that trope. It makes me
Yeah.
so frustrated. It's meant to lend to the unreliable narrative and
Right.
like the suspense of the story because you don't know if the narrator knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But I don't like it. And I
Yeah.
really liked this because it was a strong female lead and she
Yeah.
was confident the whole time that she knew what
Right.
was happening.
Right. And they kept her pretty kosher. It wasn't like you said, it's like not like she was struggling with much of anything. She just had like the murder from her high school, which is obviously not ideal and not common for most people, not relatable, but it was in defense and it was like I don't know, you kind of felt for her. She was a pretty reliable person. I don't know to listen to, but I think if you were iffy about finishing the series because you didn't love the first book, I would recommend keep going. I agree with Marissa. I didn't think about that. If you like really have a distaste for Millie, then yeah, she's in all the books. So I don't know. But I was talking to Grace about it, and we both had similar thoughts on the first book. And when I first only finished that one, like I said, I didn't love it as much. I was just like, maybe even it's three. Like I was just being so critical, kind of like the way I was with It Ends With Us. If we remember,
Hmm.
Marissa rated it super high, and I was like, I didn't really like it. And I felt like everyone liked that book, but I gave the series a chance, and I gotta say, just I like it as a series more than I liked it as one book. Like it really builds on itself. So I'd
Hmm.
recommend it. And
Yeah,
which,
I would really recommend this author too. I
yeah,
don't
oh
know
yeah,
if like this is obviously
it's
her
well
most like
done.
iconic series, like the most like talked about trilogy because it's
Right.
being like made into a movie. It's been optioned, like it's
Yeah,
happening. I just think her writing style is so good.
it
And I think
is.
that like the twist aspect, which is my favorite part of a thriller book, is like trying to guess what's happening and not
Yeah,
being able to guess it. I usually can guess the twist,
yeah.
and I was
Oh,
not able to be on
good.
track
That
for
makes
any
it
of her
so
books.
fun.
And
Yeah.
I feel like that's what really makes me like it. That and one of my favorite authors right now is Riley Sager, and
Hmm.
he does the exact same thing.
I love
And
that.
he has that twist, he has that like suspense building, and
Yeah.
I feel like if you are somebody that like wants to get into suspenseful novels, like those are two really strong authors that do it well.
Yeah, that's really, I feel like that makes it a fun reading experience for you because you do read this genre a lot. And so if you're saying you can always guess, it's like that has to get a little boring after a point. Like it's still fun to read the book, but it's like, oh, when you can guess every time, it's like, dang, I want to be surprised.
Yeah. Well, and that's my favorite part of like reading a book is trying to
Right.
guess what's happening. Like I feel like everybody likes that. Even if you're reading
Yeah,
a romance book, you're like, well, are they going to end up together? Like it's
it's
your
true.
favorite part of the reading experience. And when I get
Tell me why I got a
baffled,
little, good. Tell me why I got a little chills when you're like, are they going to end up together? I'm like, ooh,
but it's like
yeah,
it's just so good when you can't get
it
it. Like
is.
that shows that you have a good ability to captivate an audience and like
Yeah,
get them on the one track and then switch it up completely.
so good. Okay, so I want to know, we'll be quick because we're at an hour and five.
Mhm.
Which book was your favorite out of the three? It's a
I
hard question. I
think
feel like
I think the
they're
first
all so different.
book was my
Oh, really?
favorite just
Wow.
because the way that it like captivated me, but
Yeah.
I think the twist of the third book is my
Was your, yeah,
favorite.
yeah, yeah. That really sat with you. Like that really landed with you.
Yeah, like the first part of the book, of the third book, I was pretty annoyed by, like you
Yeah.
said. But by the time I got to the end, I was like, wow, she got me.
I love that. Okay, you guys. So I know we're over an hour, so I want to be mindful. We're going to go into dream casting. So if you're not interested in dream casting, that's all we're going to do for the rest of the time. So if you want to go, I respect it. However, we're going to talk about dream casting and then we're going to talk about the actual casting because I do have the four main
Okay.
characters. And we're just doing the four main characters of the first book because I thought that'd be easier. So we're going to outline the main characters, say who would like to see them play in a movie. My first one, I swear I did not do this on purpose. I was
That's
looking at a
funny.
list. I know, I
I
was looking at
saw
a
it.
list of IMDb like just top actresses because I always struggle at this part. I always forget everybody
Hmm.
once we sit here and do this. And I picked Millie Bobby Brown. And I did not
Mm.
pick Millie and Millie on purpose, but I just like her look. You know, she has the blonde hair now, or she at some point did. And I feel like it could work out. And I will say, this is going to be a spoiler for the actual casting. The only person I knew was cast in the actual movie was Sydney Sweeney. I heard
Uh-huh.
that she's on the cover of the movie, you guys. So like, that is one of the first people I saw. But instinctively, immediately, I was like Nina. I like her better as Nina,
She's
but
not
she's
old
not.
enough.
Yeah, I guess it's true. But I just like the. So I don't know if you ever watched the movie Voyeur. I think it's called The Voyeurs or whatever
Yes,
with her.
actually.
I really liked her. I think she acted so well in that movie and it spoke to me. And I was like, wait, I can kind of see, and it's a different vibe completely, but I'm just saying I could
It's
kind
a
of see her
crazy
being,
movie.
I know, I was like, I could kind of see her being like a little bit like with that manipulative, like
Mm.
eye for an eye kind of thing. So I just like that for her. So, anyways, I picked Millie Bobby Brown for Millie and then I picked Sydney Sweeney for Nina, but I want to give an alternative of someone who's not. And I picked Chloe Grace Moretz. I know it's also, she's
Oh,
young and
that's a
random,
good
but if
one.
you look at the picture on screen, you guys, and the one I have in the doc, I feel like that look is kind of giving Nina. I chose a picture of them in white on purpose because I
Yeah.
felt like it fit, but I kind of like her for it. I think she could play that like rich,
Hmm.
suburb mom vibe.
Yeah.
Um, for Andrew, I really struggled. I picked two random guys, but I don't hate them. I picked Dylan O'Brien or Ross Butler, who I never knew his name before. I knew his face, never knew his name. So that's who I picked for Andrew.
I still feel like they need to be older, Erica.
I know
I
everyone's very young. I really struggled with finding anybody. I We need like a master actor list.
I
And we
know.
need to go by ages too. But yeah, my last one was Enzo and I tapped Tommy Martinez again. I did this for like another book casting because I just love him. He's like one of my faves. He's not really actually Italian though, I don't think, but I liked his look and
I mean, he
it's
has like
kind
the
of who I
olive
pictured.
complexion, so I feel
Yeah,
like it
like
could
curly
work.
hair. I pictured him in my mind for Enzo, but if we wanted to pick actual Italian, I found this guy. I don't know who he is to be fair. Fabian Frankel. He was just on the American Italian actors IMDb list. I
Oh,
literally did so much looking. But I thought both of them have like the look that I was kind of liking, and maybe they could, make them rough up a little bit to be the worker vibe of Enzo, because he's a landscaper in this book. So
yeah.
I feel like they could rough him around the edges, make him a little dirty, but I kind of liked their vibes. So that is my dream
Yeah.
casting lineup. And if you're
So
not watching video, you're missing out because that's where I put the pictures.
I feel like I don't have an answer for the men in the book because
It was hard.
I always feel like I have the hardest like time
Yeah.
casting the
No, I
men.
agree.
But I know, Erica, from the very first page of the book, they said that these women are blonde, but I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine it. I did not
Yeah.
see them as blonde women, so mine don't make any sense.
Okay. No,
Like,
that's fine. I like it.
but I think that Anne Hathaway would be a great Nina,
Ooh, I actually really like that. I can
right?
see that. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. It's
think she
giving
would be a
money, but it's
great
giving
Nina.
like, yeah, she can be mysterious. I think I spelled it wrong, but yeah, that's a really good one.
And then I think I can never remember this woman's name. I think her
Okay.
name's Mikey. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
Mikey Madison. She is like an up and coming actress right now, and I think she would make
Oh,
a
yeah, I
great
see.
Millie.
I think I saw her for something else, or maybe we've talked about her before. I don't remember, but yeah, now that I see her. Okay, what is she in? I don't think I've ever watched her
She's in a new movie
act.
called Honora,
Okay.
which is I don't really know, but she's in one of the Scream movies
Ooh,
or two of the Scream movies.
you know who actually I can see, and I didn't think of this before? I could kind of see Joey King for Millie.
Oh,
I actually could
yeah.
see that working out, and I don't hate that. She's a good actress.
Yeah, I agree. That wouldn't
Um,
be bad.
no. Wait, I really like those castings though. And I don't mind the brunette idea because I actually was looking at Millie Bobby Brown as a brunette and I liked her better as a brunette for the role. I was
Mhm.
like, wait, I kind of like it, but I know
I
they're supposed to be
really,
blonde.
I really like Anne Hathaway for Nina, though.
Yeah,
I think that's like the perfect. I know that you
that's
used
cute.
her for the last thing he told me
Yeah, yeah.
instead of Jennifer Gardner, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that she fits perfectly
I
for
like
this.
that. Okay, do you want to go into the real casting? You don't have any men.
Yeah, I don't know who's playing the men in the book, so this will be
Ooh,
interesting to me.
fun. So I put
But
it. Oh yeah, go ahead.
but I'm really excited about who's playing Nina. I think that I really
Yes.
like her.
I put it in white text on the doc so that it wasn't a
Oh.
spoiler. But the first one is Sydney Sweeney. She's going to be playing Millie. I think it'll be
Hmm.
good. I think it'll be good.
I think it will be good.
Andrew is Brandon Sklenar, which I didn't recognize his name, but you know him from
Do
It Ends
I?
With Us.
Oh,
It's
I did know
Atlas.
that. I did know
Yeah.
that.
So Atlas is playing Andrew.
I hate
Not
that
to be confusing,
actually.
but yeah, I didn't love it. I liked
I
Nina.
love Nina being Amanda
Yes.
Seyfried. She hasn't been
Yes.
in a movie
I love it.
since like the last thing I like remember her in is like all the early like 2010s things.
Yeah.
And I just specifically remember watching her in Jennifer's Body and I feel like she would play such a good
I think
Nina.
she'll do a good job. And the last guy, I wasn't sure of him. Enzo, his name is Michelle Marone. I hope I'm saying that right. Or Michelle. I don't know how to pronounce.
Oh, I feel like he looks too old. Well, he's
He
only
does look a little
34.
old, but I think it could, like, I think I could be convinced. I just need to see it. I don't
Yeah.
know him as an actor, so I'm not like, I don't know. I have no ties to him really,
Yeah,
but
I don't
I think it
either.
could work out. His repertoire it looks like some different
And it
thriller
looks like he
looking
has long
things.
hair, which I do envision Enzo with like
Yeah.
long, thick hair.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't, to be honest, I don't hate the casting. I hated a lot less than I hated the casting for It Ends With Us and like other stuff that's been turned
Yeah.
into a movie. So I'm not mad about anybody, and I'm trying to be open minded to liking them all.
Hmm.
That's how I feel about the casting on this. But I'm excited to watch the movie. I
I
think it's
am
gonna be
too.
great. So we'll definitely watch that and
When
we'll
is it
like
coming out?
review. I think it said summer 2025, but I don't know if there's a date. We should definitely look.
It is coming out. Oh no. I don't know.
I don't know. Something said 2025, but I don't really know if it's true.
Oh, it's expected to come out on Christmas.
No, are you freaking kidding? No, that's way too far away.
I know. I'm
No, no,
excited though.
no.
I'm really excited to see the movie. I want to see how this like
Yeah.
adapts to an on-screen presentation.
We might have to go see it when you're home for Christmas. That would be really fun. We should do
I'm
that.
not coming home for
Oh,
Christmas.
shiz. Okay, well then we'll have to get together.
We will.
We'll get together at that time of year. Like maybe during like that December time, we'll get together and then we
Yeah,
can
we
review it next
will.
year. That would be really fun.
Yeah.
Movie date. Anyways, okay, so not too bad, you guys. We're at an hour and 12 minutes of recording, so I'm not
I
mad
feel like
about it.
that's average for a
That
book
is.
club.
Yeah, we really crushed it. I was nervous about how many questions I had, but I think actually alternating reading the summary was a help
That was good.
because we could breathe. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm going to wrap it up anyway, though, because we have a lot to talk about next week. Tune in for next week's episode. It's my first surprise topic of the year. You
I'm
guys
so
know Marissa did one
excited.
recently, and now it's my turn. I can't wait. Be sure to follow us to stay up to date. So on Instagram, we are at We Run on Coffee. We're always posting things these days. We're posting multiple times a week. We're posting polls. We're posting question boxes here and there. We're posting If You Know, You Know stories. So on every Wednesday on our story, we post little images that you will only understand if you listen to the episode. So very fun. And if you missed out on Wednesday, you can see them in our highlights on our page. So just give us a follow. You'll stay up to date. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. Follow us on Spotify. Download our podcast on Apple Podcasts. I never know what to say there. I think that's it. If you want to email us, feel free to do so. We run on coffeepodcast@gmail.com. And I think that's it. So I guess we'll see you later.
Bye.
And with that, I'm Erica.
And I'm Marissa. And
we
we run on coffee.